Well, it's a privilege to be able to speak to you from this incredible place. My name is Scott McClelland. I'm the Executive Director and Associate Dean of Trinity International University, Florida. We get the opportunity to provide for this area, which is the 8th most populated area of the United States from the 2010 census. So here we are in this incredibly populous area, but the diversity that's here is also something to behold. If you take a map of the United States and take a look at where Florida's at, you know, years ago, the pioneers would come across the country and they would stop at places like Chicago and St. Louis. Well, today, as things have shifted so dramatically, it's the global South where Christianity is growing and it's thriving. We can learn so much from those who are enthusiastically embracing the gospel for the first time. So take a look at that map. Florida points to the global South. And so as far as education is concerned, we are in the center of the action.
I've been working in churches for many years. My dream was for me to become a pastor. One day I had a pastor who came to preach in my church, and I asked him where did he study. And he told me he studied at Trinity International University. And he gave me the information. And I said, this is what I was looking for because I want to go to school.
I was driving home late from work one night and I heard an ad on the radio for Trinity International University and specifically their counseling psychology program. I was working in human resources at the time and was not thinking about going back to school for any reason. I had several friends, however, that were getting their degrees to become therapists, not at Trinity, at other secular schools, but I thought to myself when I heard the ad, wow, that's interesting. Why had I never thought about that for myself? So that night I got online, looked up Trinity, started reading all about it, and started reading about becoming a Christian counselor. And yes, this actually all did happen in like 24 hours. I called Trinity the next day to set up an appointment, and later that week I went over there to meet with an admissions counselor. As soon as I walked in the door, I knew something was different, and I wanted to be a part of it.
It was a few friends of mine, they had experience with Trinity International, and every time I heard them mention the idea of a Christian university, it always intrigued me. Ever since I was in high school, before, college was even an idea in my head, it was something that interested me. And when I became of age, it's time to go to college, I decided that I wanted to know what it would be like to be able to study in a Christian environment.
My journey here at Trinity started way before I ever came to South Florida. Now, being from Chicago, I know that the main campus is in Deerfield, but of course I was always challenged by how long it would take to finish school. But when I came out here, explored what my options were, while I was doing ministry, I just felt so compelled that this was the right program for me.
It's so exciting when we have staff here who have given so much of their own time, their investment, to make this place an important place, an educational experience that is quality, but is also one that has a very close feel to it. Students who come here know that they are known by name, they're cared for and prayed for by their faculty. We try to highlight the understanding that this is a place where Christ is honored, where the top education that we can make available is presented to them, but also in an environment of care and concern where this is a community that is dedicated to Christ.
Every class that I experience, it's like I'm taking on the other instructors' experiences with me, and especially them being Christian and having experience in public schools, private schools, Christian schools. It's so varied, and it's something that I know I can remember what they tell me, and I can apply it to when I actually become a teacher in the field, in whatever field that I decide to be in, whether it be public, Christian, or private.
Through my experience in Trinity, I learned a lot from the professors. They really love to teach and they encourage people to learn. Like me, when I went to Trinity, my English was not too good. They helped me a lot, so now I can speak English, I can write English. But the most important thing, the teachers there, they really like to teach and they want people to learn.
When I first started in classes at Trinity in the counseling psychology program, I was ready to give advice to people, and that's what I thought I was going to school for. I soon learned in my first class that we were told we are not to be giving advice to people. That's not what counseling was. That began a journey that I probably couldn't have described before. The classes, of course, all integrated in a biblical perspective into the psychology field. Every class was transformational in and of itself, because what happened was for every subject, every class we went into, we had to look at ourselves first. While we were learning the material, we had to look at ourselves in light of that material.
We bring them together in a wonderful cohort program which allows them to learn and grow together. You know, there's a certain aspect of motivation that rubs off one to another, where they keep themselves accountable. They do emails to each other and say, how you doing on this exam, or getting prepared for that paper, and they help one another. Those relationships continue far beyond graduation time and even begin to have a networking aspect in the future as they live and grow here in South Florida.
And the way that the studying was going about in the cohorts, and you got excited about the next class because you knew you were going to meet the same classmates who you have been journeying with for a year or so, however long the program was. And so that was really helpful to me. That really helped bring me through, knowing that I had a cohort of people that were in the same process as I was, that were pursuing after the same goals, and they understood my story. And so the way the professors were able to reach out to us in the classrooms as we're doing our homework was phenomenal.
And as I got to know the students more and more, they actually cared about what I was going through in life. Before, class was like a mini Bible study where someone would say, this is going on in my life, and we would just be talking and relating with each other and praying for each other.
So today I have my own radio show where I'm preaching the gospel, and I get a lot of knowledge from Trinity that helped me better educate my community.
I'm a therapist now. I'm working toward my licensure, and I see now at about 17 to 20 clients a week. I love counseling. I feel like I was born to do it, and the training ground that I had at Trinity, again, it's kind of I can't compare it to anything else.
And so I'm grateful for the process that Trinity has allowed me to experience, and just the opportunity to be a part of a great university that I believe is touching people's lives, both in the professional and in the Christian realm, because it integrated for me both a mindset where I can bring Christ to my work.
TIU-Florida offers a wonderful opportunity for these adults to complete their program, to gain new relationships, all under the lordship of Jesus Christ. We try to make it as flexible as possible to the schedules that are appropriate for those who are wage earners here in South Florida. Most of our classes are nights and weekends, so it doesn't really matter whether you have some educational experience to bring in or you're just starting as a young person. We'd like to welcome you here to a wonderful experience under Christ at TIU-Florida.